All right. Hello, everybody. I am coming to you today with a Fiendsmith Mitsurugi deck profile. Just topped a regional, went 6-2, ended up in 12th place. Played against three Malice decks, two Mitsurugi Ryzeal, and let's see, we played against two Kashtira Regenesis, and one like Mitsurugi Ragnarika pile. So that was interesting. Both the losses were to Malice, so that matchup can be tough. And part of that is just the way this deck is built. But the main idea with this build of the deck was to try to minimize losing to Droll. And at the end of this video, I'll show a quick little combo off of one Habakiri that gets to the Fiendsmith line through Droll. So that's the main goal of this deck. So starting off with Mitsurugi engine, we have three Habakiri. This is the one card starter, best starter in the deck, but it is once per duel, which is unfortunate. We have two copies of Murakumo. This is your negate, your board wipe, does everything. This is the main piece of your inboard, alongside one copy of Mitama. This will let you special summon all of your board back, get this back on the board for your negate and Raigeki, and also net you follow up off of all the small guys and protection. For the small ones, we are playing one apiece of Saji, Aramasa, and Kusanagi. All three of them are nice, but mainly they're just engine requirements. They are level 4s and darks, which is relevant for Xyz plays as well as Chaos Angel with your engraver. So that comes up on occasion. But more than anything, they're your engine requirements, searching a spell, trap, a monster, and adding cards back from your graveyard or banish. Adding back from banish comes up as well, especially against the Malice. And then I am also on one copy of Night Sword Serpent. This is in here mainly for anti-droll lines, just giving you a free extra body. It's also a level 4, so it can be used for rank 4 plays. It can be used for link plays if you just want to go into an SP as well, on top of everything. If you don't get interrupted, it's obviously a brick, so you don't need to play it, but I found the utility very nice. I did open this card a lot today, but still top, so it sucks to draw, but it's still playable. You can still tribute it for your prayers, since it is a reptile, but you won't get to summon it back because it wouldn't be sent to the grave by card effect. It's sent for cost. So that doesn't work as well as I want it to, but it's still something you can tribute to get a free special from your hand, all that stuff. So it's still fine. Prayers obviously is a 3 of. It gets you, at bare minimum, you just fire this in the draw phase to search for Habakiri to play around Droll with no tribute. And then I'm on two copies of Mitsurugi Ritual. Some lists play 3. You could play it at 3, but it doesn't do too much on its own unless you draw a hand full of Mitsurugi, because it does have to tribute reptile monsters as the material, so you can't tribute your Fiendsmith stuff, which is obnoxious. And for the last of the Mitsurugis, we're on one copy of Great Purification. This is a Omni Negate that tributes for cost, and it's follow-up for you from Grave by banishing. And once again, our Kusanagi can add back from banish. So if you use the purification effect for follow-up, you can also add it back with Kusanagi later. So you can keep that loop going. So the deck has really good grind engine. But that is it for the Mitsurugi engine of the deck. Next up, we have the Fiendsmith section. We have 3 copies of Engraver. I played it with 2. It's fine with 2, but with a special tech of playing 1 copy of Sanct, which we'll talk about later, it can play under Droll. So I like Engraver at 3. Also helps you not have awkward hands if you draw multiple. We're on the 1 Lacrima and the 1 Lurry alongside the 2 Tract. You could cut Tract down to 1 since I'm also playing Sanct, but I like this card a lot. It's good to open. It baits out interaction. The fusion effect did come up today, which is a first for me. So that was nice. But it's just a really good starter. It gets you full combo, obviously. Lacrima necessary for the engine. And the thing about Sanct is that if you get into Sanct off of your Engraver search and you get drolled, you can still end on your what am I trying to say? You can still end on your Fiendsmith combo. So you can just go Engraver for Sanct, get drolled, Sanct, sequence for Lacrima, Lacrima dump Engraver. You can Engraver shuffle back, and then you can go into Desiree, or you can end on the Caesar if you'd like as well. So both of those lines are perfectly viable. And then I'm also on the 1 Fiendsmith in Paradise as a Lacrima target. If you open Tract, then your combo under Droll can end on the High Wave King Caesar along with Lacrima and Requiem Engrave to send your trap. So Caesar plus trap under Droll for a deck that's supposed to die to Droll is pretty nice. Hey guys, real quick, editing Dallas here. Engraver is also a 1-card combo with Sanct. If you open Engraver and search Sanct and get drolled, you can still end on Caesar plus the Lacrima and Requiem Engrave for the trap. The only way that Sanct doesn't get you to full combo is if you hard open Sanct and nothing else. So even just discard Engraver to search Sanct is full combo. You don't have to search for the you don't have to search for the Tract to go full combo. Tract will give you an extra body engrave at the end, but if you just search Sanct with Engraver, you go complete full combo under Droll. And that's all of the Fiendsmith engine. Then we have our non-engine. So for non-engine main board, I'm playing 3 copies of Ash and 3 copies of Droll. Ash is more of a going first card to deal with mulch armies, but it's also nice into the Malice. Well, not Malice. It's not great into Malice. It stops one of their interactions, which is okay, but it's not really great against their actual combo turn. But mainly it's really good against Tabakiri when you're playing against Mitsurugi. Still okay against Duo Drive. Droll is obviously for the mirror match, really powerful there. I was on 3 droplets. These were 3 imperms originally. I ended up switching them out because imperm just doesn't feel impactful enough right now. But I also saw this card exactly once today. It did save me from dying, and I ended up winning that game. But all that mattered was the negate, because I used it on a Scareclaw Kashtira, so it couldn't attack. So that's all it was used for today. Didn't really come up, but in theory, pretty solid. If you're chaining to one of your spell cards, you can just send it. Helps play around Desiree, stuff like that. I'm on 2 Perulia. I don't own Fualos. I don't own a 3rd Perulia, so we were just rocking the 2 Perulia today. Perulia was really nice into the Ryziel Mitsurugi decks. Aside from that, it wasn't crazy. It did make a Malice player pass their turn once, but then I also completely bricked, so I just had to pass back and I died. So it can be good into Malice, depending on their hands. but it's fine. I like it main board. This is a 40 card list, so you can cut them for Fualos or switch out as you please. And then the one-ofs, I'm on one talents because talent's good. I'm on one nib, one called by, and one crossout in the main. So the nib is here for the Malice matchup and also just as a crossout target if you have to. Called by, this deck dies to droll, and crossout is mainly here to hit droll, but you can also cross out triple tag Perulia nib if you need to. I crossed out a called by in one of my games, so it really just depends on what you need. This card is pretty nice, and also just good against the Fiendsmith stuff, good against Mitsurugi in the mirror match if you really have to. Don't really want to negate your own Mitsurugi cards, but gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. So that is everything in the main board. Moving on to the extra deck, we have our Fiendsmith package. We have our one moon, so we can cross over between Mitsurugi and Fiendsmith. We have our one Requiem, one Sequence, and one Agnum Day. Agnum Day is optional, but it did come up a few games where you just need to get damage in, especially whenever you're playing Sanct. One thing about Sanct that a lot of people don't necessarily know is that Sanct says also you cannot declare attacks for the rest of this turn except with Fiend monsters. So if you activate Sanct going second, you need to keep that in mind. You can't attack with any of your Mitsurugi cards, only your Fiendsmith. So Agnum Day is really nice for that. I'm on 2 Desiree. I found it came up a lot where I would activate the trap and then not be able to shuffle my Desiree back before I went for a fusion play. So having 2 was nice for me. And then, of course, we're on the Necro equip and the High Wave King Caesar. This card's really nice right now. Really good into Malice, really good into Mitsurugi. So I think this card is just the best rank 6 to be making. Generally, my playline for the Fiendsmith line is to just get Caesar on board. I don't go for Desiree turn 1 more often than not, unless I get multiple interruptions and I'm not quite able to get to Caesar. Because if you set up Caesar, you can usually also set up the trap engrave. So that's 3 interactions, as opposed to the 1 to 2 off of Desiree. So I like Caesar a lot. I'm also playing Exoton Knight as a going second card. It's also a light fiend, so it can bridge into your Fiendsmith engine off of 2 level 4s. I never summoned this, but theoretically, it's nice. Could switch it out for something like a Gallant Granite if you want to be able to search Nibiru, because Nibiru is almost engine for this deck. But there's that. And then I was also on Chaos Angel. I never summoned this today. I did go for a line to summon it, but I was stopped, obviously. But it's a really good card. Being able to get the banish is nice, and just a real problem for a lot of decks to deal with. It comes up. I like it. As for the rest of the generic stuff, we have SP and Dynamondo are for the Mitsurugi engine, as well as King of the Feral Imps. So King of the Feral Imps, you can end up making this on weird lines where you use part of your Fiendsmith engine to get into Lacrima, and then you just normal summon out a level 4 Mitsurugi body, or something like that. You can go into King of the Feral Imps and get a search for Habakiri and go combo from there. SP is obviously very generic, very strong, good interaction, and I just wanted a link to slap onto the inboard for when I go completely full combo uninterrupted, and it's good going second. Dynamondo comes up very rarely, but it's really nice to have when it does come up, since it gives you an extra way to summon your Raigeki ritual monster from your grave without your opponent's special summoning to trigger Futso. So it comes up. It's also just good removal and good recursion if you're running out of names in your deck to tribute. And then we also have Dark for the mirror match. It's also good into Malice, just giving you bodies, but mainly it's for the mirror. And Typhon. I summoned Typhon a couple times today. It was never super impactful, but that's Typhon for you. So that's the extra. Nothing too crazy. Mostly just the Fiendsmith engine and some utility pieces alongside the King of the Paralimps. But Mitsurugi doesn't really need its extra. You could be playing a rank 8, like the Photon Lord, to get a negate out of your Mitsurugi engine. But usually you only ritual summon twice. I'm not playing Mirror, so I didn't find the rank 8 super useful. Moving on to the side, we have the other two Nibirus. So you can side in playsets against Rogue decks and Malice. It's also really good into the Ryziel version of Mitsurugi. And I'm on one Imperm in the side. This is mainly just a cross-out target, and I was having trouble filling in the sideboard a bit. But we're also on 3 talents, or 3 thrust, so thrust can set Imperm if none of your other normal spells are worth setting, and your opponent doesn't have a board. So this was nice if you're playing against, like, Regenesis, Kashtira, and you get hand-trapped. You can at least just set an Imperm, because most of your other sets don't matter. My other targets for the thrust are D-Barrier and Sanctum, alongside 3 Lancia. So obviously this is 7 copies of Lancia effectively to deal with Malice, and a D-Barrier for the Ryziel Mitsurugi. Calling Ritual is a bit of a problem since it shuts off your own rituals as well, but calling Xyz is nice. And sometimes you just gotta call Ritual and it stops their turn anyways. We also have 2 Lightning Storm. Obviously, Malice has to have their monsters in attack, so this can at the very least bait out an Omni Negate if they go for the Code Talker line, or you can just clear out the Bomber Dragon if they go for that line. So Lightning Storm was actually pretty nice. Or you can wipe back row against something like Blue Eyes. And then I did have a Book of Eclipse. I never drew this card. I sided it in a couple times, but never saw it. It's nice to dodge targeted negation if they're playing a lot of that, and it can break some boards. Like, it's pretty nice into the Mitsurugi Ryziel board. They can still use their Mitsurugi Trap tribute, which is unfortunate, but it does shut off all of the Ryziel stuff, so it's not too bad. And then, finally, I'm playing 1 copy of the Mitsurugi Magatama. This card was actually really good for me. Generally, if I'm going second, I'm siding this in and taking out the Mitsurugi Trap. If you don't know, the Magatama, during the main phase, you can activate it, but it is a quick play spell. So you can choose to either tribute a reptile monster and then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls and destroy it, or you can ritual summon a Mitsurugi ritual monster by tributing monsters whose total level equal or exceed its level. So there's a couple, both these effects are relevant in a couple different game states. The first effect is obviously just a pop. It can deal with back row, so it can deal with floodgates for you. It can also deal with something like a Chaos Angel since it's a spell card. Also, it just comes up because you can dodge cards like Imperm with it, which is really nice. The second effect is notable because it does not require reptiles as tribute material like the ritual spell does. So if you go into Desiree, you can use Magatama to use the Desiree as material for one of your ritual monsters. And if you still have sequence up, you can just link it off into your Agnum Day and get your Desiree back. So that line is actually really nice going second as well. So this card was very good. I would definitely recommend citing it, if not maining it. And it's also just another name you can search off of your Saji or any of your Mitsurugi ritual monsters. So obviously I'm assuming you guys know what the Mitsurugi cards do for this, but now I'll go ahead and show a quick example of a one-card combo that plays under Droll. So this is the one-card combo with Habakiri. So you'll activate it, use as effect a special Saji from deck, contribute him. Saji's effect will go ahead and add prayers to your hand. They activate Droll. You can chain prayers, tributing the Habakiri. This will allow you to head Kusanagi to hand, and then take 800 to special Saji. You won't be able to search with Habakiri because you're now under Droll. So you'll just go ahead and normal summon out Kusanagi and add prayers back to hand. And now from here, you can go ahead and just link these two off into Moon, or you could overlay them into Exciton Knight and go into Fiendsmith combo from there. So that's the very basic combo if you want to search prayers off of Saji every time. But there's another option as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the main reason that I'm playing Night Sword Serpent, which is Habakiri with any normal summon. So it can be Perulia, Ash, Droll, whatever random hand trap you have. If you open Lurry, you can do it with Lurry. So this is a 1.5 card combo, 2 card combo, however you want to think about it. If you have any other ritual monster in hand, this line also works. So this is why we're playing Night Sword Serpent. We'll activate, summon Saji, tribute Saji, activate Saji effect, and search our ritual spell instead of searching for the prayers here. Then we'll get Drolled. We'll go ahead and ritual summon from hand by using materials from deck. We'll summon Habakiri using Night Sword Serpent and Mikoto. Or, not Mikoto, Kusanagi. Then, on a new chain, Kusanagi Chainlink 1 will add Ritual back to hand, and Chainlink 2, Night Sword Serpent, will summon itself. So we'll add back, and we'll summon. And then here, if you have another Ritual monster in hand, you can just Ritual summon from deck by using the monster in hand, and that'll get you the extra body, so you can go into your negate as well as full Fiendsmith combo from here by linking these two off. Or you can go ahead and just activate the ritual summon. If you don't have a ritual monster in hand, just tribute that off to get this on board. So now if they want to hand trap your Fiendsmith line, they have to pay an extra card. So Imperm, Baylor, Ash, all that stuff is pretty bad. And they've already drolled you. So then, if you have a normal summon, we'll just go ahead and throw out our normal summon. These two happen to be 4s, so you can make Exciton Knight. But we'll just go ahead and link them off into our Moon, which we will then link off into Requiem. Use Requiem's effect. Go ahead and summon out our copy of Lacrima. Lacrima effect will send Engraver. And then from here you have the option, you can go into the Desiree, or you can go into the Wave King. Generally, on turn 1, I'm going to go equip, send for Necroequip, Engraver effect, shuffling back Moon to summon himself, notably leaving these two in your grave. And then you can just go ahead and overlay or the Caesar. If you want, you can also go for this line before you use your ritual spell to keep your ritual spell in hand in case they nib, because if they nib on this, if they open droll nib and they nib before you summon the Caesar, obviously you just lose everything. You can Mitsurugi, or you can Murakumo in response, but if they discard the nib, it still tributes your board. You don't get a special back because you're still under droll. So you could just make Caesar first, and then go into the ritual play. It's up to you, but either way, you won't be able to ritual summon this guy if they nib. So there's only so much you can do under droll still. But even if they were to nib you, you can still at least use your Lacrima to get the trap engraved. So assuming this goes through, our end board is a hand rip / negate question mark, as well as the double Caesar, and then during their turn, we can go ahead and shuffle back Lacrima to summon Requiem, Requiem to summon Lacrima, and then Lacrima can go ahead and dump our Fiendsmith in Paradise. So under droll, off of just a Habakiri and any normal summon or ritual monster, we end on our Murakumo for a hand rip, our trap card engrave so we can send, as well as Caesar, double negate, and full Fiendsmith follow-up. So I think it's a pretty solid line under droll, and I really enjoyed this deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. Go ahead and leave comments if you have any thoughts, suggestions. There are definitely changes that can be made. If you have Thualos or Meowls, they're worth considering at the bare minimum, and probably very playable. So with that, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.